This week's parsha is Lecha, and one of the stories brings us the four kings who come into the land of Canaan, kidnap Lot, who's Avram's nephew, and take him and all of his stuff back to wherever they're from in the northeast of Canaan. Avram hears that his nephew is kidnapped, and immediately he musters up his group and he runs after them, he pursues them, he wins, he's victorious, and he takes back all the people and all the money and all that jazz. And the question is, why did Avram think that he'd be able with 318 people to attack these four mighty armies? I mean, that doesn't really make much sense. Now you could say to yourself, because Avram has God on his side. And that's wonderful and that's true and it's very, very nice, except we know in Judaism, we don't rely upon miracles. So what was Avram thinking? Well, I think to answer this, we have to tell a little story from 100 years ago in World War I. Churchill calls the German position, the German secret plan to import Lenin into Russia as a plague bacillus. The German secret police took this guy named Vladimir Lenin and sent him into Russia to destabilize Russia. And in fact, it worked. He went into Russia, started spewing all sorts of amazing thoughts about communism, and before you know it, the government is toppled and Russia is out of World War I. That's how Germany got Russia out of the war on the Eastern Front. Well, it turns out, if you look carefully at the pasuk says, "Vayarek es chanichav yilidei veso," that Avram musters chanichav. Chanichav? His chanichim? He didn't muster his soldiers. He didn't muster his muscle men and his missile men. He mustered his students. He took his students to battle? Why did he think he would conquer four armies with a bunch of students? And the answer is because he knows history, or in his case, I guess, futury. He knows that if you can talk a good game, you can turn people's armies against them. And in one day, Avram succeeds in totally overturning all four kings and their armies with a bunch of students. And therefore, my message to you is not merely that the pen is mightier than the sword, but beware the power of your students. Shabbat Shalom.